Hi guys, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. So thanks for joining me today. I wanted to do a house reset. Eid is coming, and so I needed to clean up the space and make sure everything is in order. So this is where we are beginning. I had finished arranging everything in the house. I'm sure you saw in the last video I was still trying to figure out where everything was going to go. And so yeah, at least I got space for my sewing machine, and now I'm able to sew. I haven't used that machine in a while. That shoe rack was in my bedroom, but I had to move it to the kids' room. I thought it looked better there. I wanted to change the curtains in my living room, and I want to take out the carpet and wash it. And yeah, so that's where we begin. I took out the carpet, and first thing that I did was kuikung'uta. I don't know what that's I don't know how to say that in English, but nilikung'uta first, and then to remove all the dirt before I put any water on it, and then took it outside and washed it. I couldn't show washing it because it's outside for security purposes. So I just took it on my balcony and washed it, and then hanged it to dry because I want to put it back. I don't want to lay another carpet in this space. I want this same carpet to be the one in my living room. Yeah, so that's what I did. And this carpet, the reason I really like it is because it's really light and easy when it comes to clean up. You can see all the gunk that was already in that carpet. It was just due for a wash. Yeah, so the next thing I did was I swept this space, and yeah, just to make sure all the dust, it was so dusty under the seats, and after removing the carpet and kuikung'uta, there was a lot of dust in this space. So that's the next thing that I did was sweep this space. So this is hours later. I have finished washing the carpet, and I just hanged it outside, and it was already at night. So the next morning, before I even showered, I just got dressed and started to remove the curtains. I wanted to do everything that was that would make me sweat first and then take a shower and then do everything else. So I started with removing the curtains. As you can see, the beds are partly done because I recruit the help of my kids. I usually try to make them help in the morning to make their own beds. So I ask them to fold their own blankets, and they already had done that. So all I had to do was just make the beds look a bit neater, and yeah. This is the youngest one's bed. He's 2 years, so he can't help make it. He can't do anything. So that is the only bed I do everything on. The two beds on top, the kids are a bit older, so they can help. But this one, I'm the one who does it every morning. On days like this where there is a lot of work to do and I have to touch on every room, I usually get so overwhelmed. So what I do is I focus on one room and one room only first. Like, I don't do small here, small there, because I think that would just overwhelm me too much and I would end up not doing anything. So what I do is, if I'm gonna start in the kids' room, I do the kids' room until I have swept it and everything is done. The only thing that remains is mopping the floor, because I mop like when I start mopping the floor, I want to mop the entire house at the same time. So the only thing that remains is usually that. So I sort clothes, I pick up toys, like one room at a time. So I finished the kids' room, and then the next room I went to my bedroom. Just like the kids' room, I started with the curtains, and then the bed, and then the floor. That's just how I do it, just to avoid getting so overwhelmed by putting a lot of things on my plate, and then you end up feeling like there's too much on your to-do list. So if you get overwhelmed easily, I think it would be great for you to just focus on one thing at a time, and you find yourself, hey, it wasn't even that hard, I finished it. This is not my daily routine. If it was, I would be so overwhelmed. I'm a mom of 3 and there's always a lot on my plate. I don't have a maid. I don't get mama fua. I do everything by myself in my house. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh, she's doing a lot, yeah, it's a lot, but it's for just once in a while. Like maybe every 2 weeks I would do this. I would just change everything and clean out the whole space. But as a mom, there is no way you can manage to do this all on your own in every day, just everything. No. So don't be overwhelmed. I like the carpet, I washed it the previous day. Now this is the next day, and after doing all of this, I just pulled up a chair, sat down, and started doing laundry. I sit down when I'm doing laundry. It's too much. So just take your time and don't be discouraged if you feel like your house is not always in a good it's not always Pinterest perfect. I clean my house and the next minute the kiddos have just thrown things everywhere, and you just have to allow them to be kids. So don't be discouraged if your house is not always Pinterest perfect. We make it perfect here on YouTube just for the video, and just a few minutes after that the kids have their books out, they have their games out, and just don't get discouraged. This is not something you can do every day. So there's a part of the video where I show changing out the mat in this space, but I guess I just didn't press record or something happened, I don't know. But I changed out the mat. That mat is a clean one. I removed the other one. Yeah, and then if you watched my previous video, then you know this wardrobe was in my kids' room. I decided to move it here because it was weird having 2 wardrobes in that room. And just filling that laundry basket was overwhelming to me. If you do your laundry by hand, then you know the struggle. Yeah, so the next room to tackle was the living room, and I started with just, of course, first things first, the curtains. So I changed out the curtains. Those were the ones that were there. And then I just decided this room and my bedroom were going to have the same kind of curtain. Yeah, so I changed the curtains and the pillowcases, and yeah, swept this whole space, and I was done with the living room. while I was sweeping the living room, I also swept the kitchen. So all that remained with the floor was just mopping it. And the next thing that I did was tackled the dishes. And while I was tackling the dishes, I also decided to cook. So in my previous video, I asked if anyone knew how to remove the blue thing that is usually on a new sink. The best way to remove it is with hot water, steel wire, soap, and that's it. And as for lunch, all I had done was taken out beans that was already cooked in the freezer, which I usually do in bulk, and then I just boiled some rice, and it was just an easy, fast lunch. So after lunch, it was the kids showered, and then I did the laundry. And this is hours later. I had already finished doing the laundry, and yeah, this is late afternoon. It is a few minutes to 4, and my youngest is still sleeping. So that's why that bed looks like that. Yeah, so that's their room. Then this is the kitchen. You can see there are still dishes in the sink. That's because people ate lunch. Yeah, that's my room. And I was just, whenever the house is clean, the sheets are clean, like everything is clean, nothing just feels better than that, I think. Yeah, the living room was super clean. I loved it. I had already mopped the entire house. I did that off camera, of course, but I still don't have a carpet here because the carpet is taking forever to dry. So this is the next day. The carpet dried, so I guess I'm ready for Eid. Yeah, so the next video is going to be Eid cooking and everything that we're going to be doing for Eid, inshallah. Yeah, so I really love how this space turned out. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Bye, see you in the next one.